The warp jump was unusually erratic. The recent attacks of the scrap code disabled many of the sacred machines, whose malfunctioning algorithms showed no sign of failure until the vessel departed real space and surrendered itself to the Sea of Souls. Only the Navigator's talent and the tireless vigil of the tech priest saved the voidship from ruin. I still have no idea how to get here. But well, that's an issue for future Ethan. Should we just look at those three, and then we're going to slowly go down here again? So many systems to explore. A war breach, ungodly fiends spraying sorcerous disease over the lower decks, gathering a cohort of infected voidsmen. If no measures are taken immediately, an entire bay could be turned into a den of heresy. I mean, we can just give the crew some military gear. I don't know if that's just a way to skip the fight, so let's try that. The crew will receive military gear and a chance to prove themselves worthy by dispatching the Lord Captain's enemies. Yeah, cost of some cargo. The victory of the Rogue Trader's enemies came at a high price. Still, the decks have been cleansed of warp spawn, albeit it took the blood of hundreds of voidsmen to wash away any evidence of their presence. Yikes. But it could have been just us 6 instead. Okay, let's do it ourselves next time. Agathis Archides. Ooh, Ring of Asteroids. It's an abandoned void ship. That sounds like loot. And I'm still looking for Phlogiston and chemicals. Lord Captain, the Ogres cannot determine who this ship we approach belongs to, but the telemetry clearly reveals it as an Imperium vessel. The hull is badly damaged, but there's air in some of the chambers, which means they're hermetically sealed. What are your orders concerning the discovery? I'd say another adventure waits. Send out the order to prepare my troops for boarding. I will personally take part in the exploratory expedition. What could go wrong? Go for it. Totally won't be full of demons. Region. Scenaris Maleficus. Let's not read this part. We who walk down the same passageways in the same base day after day. We who are born, live, and die to the hum of the ship's machines. We forever hunger for the smallest glimpse of another life, and for a chance to see the heroes who tirelessly fight for us and for the glory of the Imperium. So, let's have a tale about the Lord Captain, by the will of the Emperor, the guardian and commander of every good and honest soul upon this void ship, and the time you boarded a vessel named the Fireborn. Like a dead whale cast ashore by the inexorable force of the swell, the wrecked vessel was a confronting sight for its unwitting visitors. Some bays still retained an atmosphere, but there was no life anywhere. The ship was dead, its machine spirit dissipated in the darkness of space. It was just the husk left, and the Rogue Trader's crew were to become scavengers swarming the carcass. Ah, we can scroll. Swarming the carcass of a fallen Leviathan. Our Lord Captain oversaw the expedition personally. He decided to train the penetrating gaze of the augur race on the damaged ship. Succeeds. The augur's keen eyes scanned the eerie vessel, identifying that the void ship was gravely damaged and was in the process of final erosion. There was very little time to explore it. 3 sectors seemed the least damaged: the bridge, the middle crew deck, and the service bay. After exchanging a series of trills and warbles in their mysterious and ancient language, the tech priest responsible for the augurs reported to the Lord Captain that they had glimpsed signs of valuable components in operation in the service bay, and the Lord Captain's next step was... To have Idira to less feel out of course. An unholy Psyker she may be, but even the souls as dark as hers submit to the Lord Captain's will. With hostile eyes upon her, Idira sank into a trance. When she resurfaced, she reported that the ship had been a victim of the warp. The bridge had suffered worst of all. It was the section that provoked the great anxiety and trepidation in the Psyker. The service bay was the least damaged section, though Idira spoke of it with no particular interest. The Lord Captain's next step was... I mean, that sounds cool. Like, best loot and least danger in the service bay. The Lord Captain's next step was to turn his attention to the scout units awaiting instructions. The Lord Captain had to decide which of the 3 teams he would lead, and which 2 would be entrusted to their officers. Let here be known the names of those honest people who stood before our rogue trader in that moment. The Taciturn and grave Jung-Ho Son. I guess that's how it could be pronounced? Whose word was as firm as his handshake. Captain Vesti, whose jokes will be remembered by everyone on decks 3 to 5. Captain Bettina, the senior officer of the 3rd unit, known to many as Grey Bettina. He had been leading units back when the current crop of scouts were snot-nosed kids. No one on deck was in any doubt that navigating inside the wrecked ship would be difficult. The units would be separated by kilometers of twisted metal, dead modules devoid of atmosphere, collapsed passageways, and hull breaches the size of a house. The only thing connecting the brave teams would be the delicate thread of a voxlink. And so, after weighing up the options, the Lord Captain chose to go with... I mean... I'm not really sure. It sounds like the bridge might be the most dangerous, so it could be an option to say, okay, we're trying to help our crew, and we know that the service bay has the most valuable stuff. So the thing is, do we want to make sure that we have the most valuable stuff, or do we want to go to the bridge, which might be the most interesting, and where we can also maybe protect our people the best? Let's go with the first. Definitely the Edward thing to do. From here on, we will relate the events based on what we have learned from witnesses, the people who accompanied the Lord Captain on the tour of the Dreadship. The shuttle started up one after another and dispersed, each heading for its selected target. An hour spent on cutting through the hull in the freezing vacuum of space, a fuzzy boarding, and then, finally, the rogue trader stepped onto the cold, dark deck of the dead ship. And the light of the torches revealed a sign in the gloom: Fireborn. After a minute-long exchange with the Voxmaster, who quickly checked the archives, it was established that the dead vessel was that of Captain Nova Van Dyne, registered at Kiava Gamma port. Every minute spent on board threatened to end in disaster. The ship's days, or even hours, of existence were numbered. From all sides came the sounds of distant crumbling. The floor underfoot trembled every now and then. The Lord Captain hurriedly moved deeper into the compartment when he suddenly felt the slightest puff of air brush against his neck, followed by a soft sigh. Almost as if someone had leaned in close, opened their mouth to whisper a dark, tantalizing secret, and then fallen silent. The only thing was, the Lord Captain stood entirely alone. It looks very broken looking at the artwork. Okay, the willpower one is definitely easier. Yeah, we're not good enough in Lore Warp. The Lord Captain summoned all of his willpower so as not to succumb to fear. From here on, we will relate the events based on what we have learned from witnesses. We already had that. Where simple mortals would have already been trembling and weeping, the rogue trader only gritted his teeth. Shrieks and moans could be heard close by. Others were gripped by the illusion too. Young-Ho Son, the unit captain, barked out orders. His team held back their comrades who had fallen victim to the uncanny terror, and who were struggling to break free and run deeper into the cursed ship. A few minutes passed, and the unit, though scared senseless, was ready to continue. There could be worse things in a space hulk than demons. Let's see if we're going to find out what it could be worse than demons. Sound suddenly blared from the Vox, which was turned to the second unit's frequency. The words sounded muffled, as though the person on the other end wasn't speaking directly into the vox, but desperately pressing the transmit button while occupied with something else. Never seen anything like it. It's beautiful. Hold on, wait, is it moving? The words are cut off by strangled wheeze, followed by static. I have kind of the feeling that we're just going to be the only unit who's going to make it out alive, and probably should have went for the storage unit. Well, Yungo's son listened to the transmission and the final rasp with a surprisingly calm expression, then pressed the vox button, and a similarly calm voice let loose a stream of florid swearing, which centered on casting aspersions on his interlocutor's intellectual capabilities. Turning to the rogue trader, he remarked, apologies, Lord Captain. Captain Vestry from the second unit is well known for his pranks. Crap, the Lord Captain's with you? Comes Vestry's voice from the speakers, followed immediately by, my sincere apologies, your lordship. I just wanted to spook the guys a little. Wow. That seems like such a dumb idea. Then again, guess you gotta keep yourself entertained, right? The Lord Captain resolved to show leniency and merely asked for a report on the unit's progress. Captain Vestige reported that his unit's foray... Oh, also a guy. Oh well. That his unit's foray had so far proceeded without incident, mystical or otherwise. Or bodies, for that matter. However, the unit had encountered a problem. The passage leading to the deck section with the arsenal and storage depot was seriously damaged, especially the power cables. Proceeding further could be dangerous. After consulting his officers, the Lord Captain issues new orders for Vesti's unit. Succeeded, nice. Vesti's unit headed off to carry out the orders, while the rogue trader and his team continued on. Such a long... what's the word? Such a long sequence. After spending several hours wandering down the dead passageways, Yingho Son's unit and the rogue trader reached the bridge of the Fireborn. The oppressive feeling had not dissipated. It was as though the bulkheads of the ship were steeped in the terror and pain of the people who had vanished without a trace from those decks. On their way there, the unit had found no signs of a struggle or bodies of the crew, and that served only to deepen their unease. I would have punished him personally, but stupid to be doing pranks while doing a dangerous operation. True, Alistair. Then again, if you know it, I think it's less dangerous, I guess. Still probably not something you should do on work. Of course, well, also makes you way less prone to actually noticing if something's off, right? Oh well. But I think it wouldn't help in that situation, which seems very tense, to punch him then. If I would punish him, I would do it afterwards. Because I think otherwise just the whole group will fall into disarray. The Lord Captain took a risk and watched the recording. New rumor. The recording contained a message from Captain Nova Van Dyne. It was almost impossible to make anything out in the pict, only the captain's hand gripping the edge of the table, and flashes of iridescent light. The captain was speaking crisply, almost calmly, but there was also short, almost inaudible breaths. Exactly what the rogue trader's team had encountered when they had first boarded the ship, and it even seemed that those sounds were coming not from the recording, but from the gloom-drenched corners of the bridge itself. Kiavagama has fallen. The Fireborn broke orbit under fire from an unknown enemy and left the system, said the Captain Van Dyne on the recording, with the tone of an officer reporting to her superiors. We encountered pathological warp activity. The crew is reporting failures in the Gallowfield system. The ship is doomed. Whoever finds this recording, I ask you to hold a prayer service for our souls. I also ask you to take the family relics of the Van Dyne line from Kiavagama. The relics are stored... The captain then specified the location of a family vault and the access code. The recording ended. There was nothing left to do on the cursed deck. It was time to return to the shuttle. I mean, we've been to Kiavagama, so probably we just found and hacked the stuff, right? A message came in from the unit led by the seasoned, unflappable Grey Matina. The captain methodologically reported on all the service base sections the team had already examined. They'd found nothing of value. Oh. They'd found no bodies. There'd been no incidents, and the search was proceeding as normal. The unit was waiting for further instructions from the Lord Captain. After distilling the salient points from Grey Martina's exhaustive report, Edward listed the areas that warranted a more thorough search. Hopefully we can find something. Yes! Nice so much! Perfume? After returning to the shuttle, Edward received reports about Fireborn's status. The tech priest who relentlessly pierced the wreckage with the Augur's gaze insisted on The tech priest who relentlessly pierced the wreckage with the Augur's gaze insisted on curtailing the operation as soon as possible, fearing imminent destruction. There were also reports from the other two units. The second unit had succeeded in moving through the danger zone. Danger zone? And had returned to the shuttle with a valuable payload taken from the dead ship's stores. Grey Martina's unit had explored the service bay without incident, and not wasting any time, had marked valuable components for later disassembly and transfer to the rogue trader's ship. Lots of items received, less pistol, cogitator bracer, and lots of loot. Hey Jigsaw, nice to see you again. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm really well actually. Still enjoying the game, how are you? The units assembled at the shuttles and the Lord Captain gave the final order of this grim expedition. And Edward decides to honor the memory of Captain Nova Von Dyne and her crew. Nova is a nice name. The last request of the fallen captain had been fulfilled. The improvised funeral began with a brief military salute, and the rogue trader himself recited a prayer for the souls of the Fireborn, just as any honest servant of the Emperor who has dedicated their life to voyaging through the darkness would honor their fellows and mourn their deaths. Time was up. The scouting party returned to the ship. With one last look at the Fireborn, the rogue trader gave the order to fire upon the dead vessel at range, for that which was born in fire should also perish in fire. Nice, and it's gone. Ooh, what an adventure. It went better than I expected, I gotta say. Nothing. Yeah, murky planet. No, I'm not gonna do it for provisions. Especially not for 3. Come on, chemicals, chemicals, chemicals. The rings. The giant rings on this planet's surface can be observed even from the orbit. It's kinda sad that you can't see it. Or are those the rings? They look not ringy enough, I think. I'm great. Finished exams. Congratulations. And now I'm a senior in computer science. Well, congratulations. That's really cool. I remember I was so happy when I wrote the last exam and finally finished my master's. So yeah, feel that. The relief that you're finally done. Maybe you'll find something new to do with that. Okay, and of course we examine the rings. It has emerged that this planet has a native species of giant insects similar to Terran ants. Oh no, giant murder ants. Just like ants, they sometimes form so-called death spirals. What? In which one creature follows another without realizing they're going in circles. Ah, I remember that. I had a ex-boyfriend who was really into, well, not really an ex-boyfriend, more like someone I dated for quite a while, who was like really into ants, and he told me about that sometime. 95% of my ant knowledge is just from dating this guy. Oh well. These were the rings discovered by the ship's observers. The strange phenomenon that was originally suspected to be a sign of warp activity or nefarious Xenos structure turned out to be a quirk of nature, and a tragic one at that. Oh well. Wasted no time grinding my way in Divinity. Nice, sounds cool. Hope you're enjoying it so far. The ogres have detected wreckage in the voidship's vicinity, but the exact nature of this wreckage remains unclear. Don't worry, there's a whole planet of giant murderous spiders. Why is it always spiders? Called the murder arachnids of the planet Murder. Let's not get there. The ogres have detected wreckage in the voidship's vicinity, but the exact nature of this wreckage remains unclear. Maybe let's look for the source first before we loot. Careful looting. The ogre cruise reports that it has registered no evidence of a disaster that could have produced such debris. Okay, let's take the loot. Some of the wreckage is made of plasteel, the rest some unknown material. Studying the fragments further is nigh impossible due to severe corrosive damage. The non-metallic fragments also bear burn marks. That was random. So, how far are you in Divinity, Jigsaw? Go! The warp jump went smoothly enough, although many crew members reported strange incidents while they were asleep. They sensed someone approaching them and laying a hand on their forehead. Then the hand seemed to pass through their skin, through their skull, and with tender motions, sorted their jumbled thoughts into some kind of order. After the strange incident, Jay Hadari was uncharacteristically somber for almost 2 watches, spent several hours in the ship's chapel praying. Nice. You know, there's warp involved if Jai is going to be devout to the Emperor. It's such a huge sun. Almost looks like ice, actually. Free plasteel. Yeah. But we can go down. Inquisition shipwreck. Here we go. What's the worst that could happen? I just need to drink my tea so I can talk. Ooh, an ice planet.
I
wonder what the Inquisition was doing here. Is there anything to do here? Nope. Shotgun. Nah. The melter charge, that's nice. Interesting, why are those not sorted to cargo? Let's do that very quickly. Because I think all the... what kind of color is that? Brownish, reddish marked ones? I think they are all just cargo, because you can't use them. Lots of unholy amulets. How fun. Ooh, better voidship plating. We should definitely equip that. And hey, we can even do that while we're on the way. Cool. But look at that. 4 points of damage on each side. Now 7 points of damage. 7 points of damage port and starboard, and 3 points of damage on the fore and aft. I still think that's nicer. New chip system, more critical hit chance, but also less chance to hit. I like to live dangerously. Another lance weapon. But that was one for the prow, and we couldn't use 2 times the same weapon. Oh well. Augury. Ooh, more range. I think reinforced shields could be nice, looking at the last the last battles. But just reload. And we're not really using macro cannons. Strafe. Ooh, slides a short distance to one side. That could be cool. Let's go for that. And reinforce. Wait, did we just get new ones? We did? Okay, we're going to go for reinforced shields. And now we have new ones up here. Boarding party. To infiltrate an enemy ship, starting internal fires. Nice. Possibly causing engine damage that cripples the ship for 1 round. Ooh. Duration plus 1 round for every 10 points in the post officer's persuasion skill. Yes. All hands on deck. The flagship's torpedo tubes are loaded with 3 torpedo salvos instead of 1. Huh? Scary chant. The most damaged sector of the flagship's shield restores up to 50% of its strength. That would be cool. Imperium Storm. The flagship makes 7 attacks, each of which targets a random enemy in an 8-cell range. Let's definitely go for that. More damage, I take it. Okay. Yes, yes.
The machine god grants the insight.
These soldiers were killed by shots in the back. It seems they were executed by their own comrade, who then used his last charge to blow his own brains out. What happened here? Sentry's keycard. Sounds like a good thing to have. I'm a little
Attention to
concerned.
detail is the key to success.
Trusty Argenta.
Duty prevails.
Really good. Oh, then again, quite good demolition skill and low difficulty.
I always have a backup plan.
There's a gaping hole in each corpse's. There's a gaping hole in each corpse's head. They were brought out one at a time and shot from behind at blank point range.
Always keep your eye on
Lots
the
of
prize.
people executed.
This explorator is blessed with multifunctionality.
The readings indicate that the ship's reactor is still running, though perhaps not for long. This explains why the ship's interior is warm. I mean, it still looks frozen. I think we just picked something up, awarding us a little bit more logic, and I wanted to take that. And I'm also looking at the plasma gun, and I'm like, ooh, might be interesting. I think not everyone can use plasma guns. Yeah. Oh, interesting. We can use it. We already have a plasma gun. Let's take a new plasma gun. Here we go. The wearer kills their target with a melee attack. All enemies in 2-star range around the wearer suffer wearer bonus. Willpower bonus, mental damage. Ooh, you are quite well. Makes sense. While the wearers and allies in 2-star radius gain momentum, they also gain an equal amount of temporary wounds. That's also good. And Abelard doesn't have too much willpower, but hey, here we go. And can be equipped. Excuse me? Equip. I don't know why it doesn't work. Here we have the bonus to logic. Here we go. 98. Weird. We don't seem to be able to equip this in general. Maybe it's bugged. Okay.
That was a problem for you.
Excuse me. Is that a way to talk to your...
Keep your wits about.